colleagues, the Progressive Caucus, and the 9 wasted months. The National Coloured Congress is in firm support of the bill. We're in firm support of anything that does anything to bring service delivery to the hopeless, the poor, and the vulnerable. We are concerned, though, that the bill doesn't speak enough about non-compliance in municipalities and that there isn't enough teeth to deal with rampant corruption. Also, with all the good intentions of this bill, we understand the government that we're dealing with. But that being said, we support this bill without reserve. We do have concerns that certain members of the GNU come up onto this podium and speak of merit-based appointments. Merit-based appointments. When their leaders question the capability of coloured people, as per Helen Zille. When their mayor in Saldanha, that racist rubbish called Marius Koen, who said that coloured people are not fit for management. When they appoint white matriculants and face the wrath of court findings that the Democratic Alliance is nothing more than a right-wing institution that cares nothing except for the lives of white people in particular. We should never come to this podium and spew lies. This is a truthful house, even for those that do not understand the truth. Let the Democratic Alliance understand that for all the failures of the ANC with trade development...
Take your seat. Honourable Adams, please take your seat. There is a point of order.
I want to know who's so brave, Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable de Villiers.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I don't think it is acceptable or parliamentary to call any member of the public a racist rubbish in this House. Thank you.
Honourable Adams, I have to rule. Please take your seat. Please take your seat. Honourable de Villiers, it is not parliamentary if you refer in those terms to a member of this House. It is unfortunately not very courteous to members outside of this House. So unfortunately, I cannot sustain your point, but I do request the members to adhere to the decorum and the oath they took and the code of ethics in terms of how we treat people outside of this House. Please proceed, Honourable Adams.
Speaker, I'm going to take from my own time, Speaker, and address the member who was so brave. It is a pity that you did not object when that man said that my people were not fit for management. It is a pity that you only see racism. I have to question that honourable member. Is it sympathy or empathy? Are you too a racist rubbish? Are you too trailer park trash? We come here to bowl. We come here to make things better, not with your kind. Thank you.
The Speaker from the PIC, Honourable Michalakis. Honourable Michalakis, your point of order.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I rise on Rule 84. I understand that the last two sentences of the Honourable
members, order. There is a point of order on the floor. Honourable Michalakis, please proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I understand that the last three sentences of the Honourable Member were questions, but then he ended by saying "your kind," referring to the Honourable Member. I do believe that that is casting aspersions on the person in the Honourable Member, and I would like your ruling on that. Thank you.
Honourable Michalakis, I will have to check the Hansard for that to make sure that that is what indeed was said. Honourable Mkalipi, I have now ruled on that point, so no further entertainment of that point.
Deputy Speaker, but the conduct of the Chief Whip of the DA, I think he needs a workshop. We can't just stand up on each and every issue.
That is not a point of order. That is not a point of order. We now proceed. The PAC, is there a speaker? Not. The UAT, not a speaker. The Honourable Atkinson.
Deputy Speaker,
Deputy Speaker.
Where is the point of order? Honourable Matwe, Honourable Atkinson, please take your seat. Yes, Honourable Matwe.
Deputy Speaker, I noticed that we switched off the mic of the honourable member, but the rule says that you must warn her first, and you didn't, Deputy Speaker. Please don't do that, Speaker. If she's out of order, you want to rule her out of order, please warn her and let her know that if you continue, I'm going to switch off her mic. Don't just switch
I
off.
will do that as I did with the Honourable Ntlangwini, where I warned her and then switched off a mic. I will do that again. My apologies, Honourable Mkalipi, but I will do the same as I did with the Honourable
Can I
Ntlangwini.
continue? Because I didn't finish my point.
That is not a point of order, and I now warn you, I will now switch off your mic. Honourable Atkinson, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Much of the political landscape in South Africa over the last 6 weeks has been seized by a discussion about our budget or our non-budget, about VAT rates of 2% or 0.5% or no VAT at all to meet the shortfalls of projected overspending by the state in the year 2025-2026. This is something that needs to be taken really seriously by if our economy is to grow strongly and create the millions of jobs required to significantly reduce unemployment. This is highlighted amongst the 6 priorities that the DA presented the government to gain our support in passing the 2025-2026 budget. And I will read this one out for the benefit of the Finance Minister, who didn't appear to get that memo. A committee is set up to carry out a comprehensive spending review, which must reprioritize 100 billion rand in spending by the end of the year at national and provincial levels. What is very apparent is that our present dysfunctional public service wastes a significant amount of public resources through incompetence and cadre deployment, often resulting in elevated amounts of fruitless and wasteful expenditure. A study of senior managers in the public service in 2021 showed that 35% lacked the correct qualifications for their positions. An independent public service commission, as envisaged by the bill, would go a very long way to rooting out those not qualified or unsuitable for their positions. This change in approach to appointments in the public service will help to ensure a fit for service public service. This would have a significant effect in saving public resources, helping greatly in the public spending review as envisaged in the DA's budget document just mentioned. The State Capture Commission, led by Judge Zondo in 2017-2018, has exposed the extent to which the toxic practice of cadre deployment has permeated state structures and not only has caused the loss of hundreds of billions of rand, but also has put lives at risk as well. Much of the money stolen through state capture has been through the procurement processes of government departments and SOEs, assisted by compromised individuals. The theft of money from Denel through the Gupta Link company VR Laser can be linked to Denel being unable to deliver armoured trucks to the SANDF. This shortage of vital equipment has placed lives at risk in the recent debacle around the SANDF peacekeepers in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Fraud carried out by compromised government officials can cost lives. It is envisaged that the new bill will be able to crack down on such practices by ensuring officials are not appointed due to political connections, making them less susceptible to carrying out fraud and flouting regulations on behalf of their benefactors. Not only will the bill help to reduce instances of corruption, but the PSC's independent nature will also be able to reduce the scourge of ghost employees, the Caspers to which my colleagues were referring to earlier. Thousands of such employees have been identified in Limpopo province, which has led to a government call to check in all other government departments for such Caspers or ghost employees across the board. Such practices would be much more difficult to effect under a fully independent PSC envisaged in this new bill. Many of the world's most successful democracies have professional public services that are independent of the party in power. They are able to seamlessly manage change in government administration when political power changes. With the ANC having held overwhelming political power for 30 years after 1994, it created a public service that was very aligned to the party through cadre deployment. With that era now coming to an end with the creation of the Government of National Unity in 2024, the civil service has had to start managing change in government. For the foreseeable future, it would appear that South Africa will be governed by coalitions of a variety of different political parties. It is for that reason that a professional, non-partisan public service envisaged by this bill will be the only feasible way that South Africa can be successfully administered in the future. Being a member of the Select Committee of Public Accounts, the SCOPA Committee, we get to see the full effects of the dysfunctionality of our present civil service. From high levels of unauthorized expenditure in our SETAs, making it more difficult to deliver on their core mandate, to insurance funds such as the RAF, Road Accident Fund, and the Compensation Fund, administered on behalf of the government, making questionable investments to the detriment of the taxpayer. This and much more will become very difficult to execute once this bill has established an independent PSC. The DA supports this bill as we believe it will help to make significant cost savings for this government by ensuring a fit-for-purpose public service. It will also help us to align ourselves more closely with our successful peers who have independent public services, and it will help us to ensure seamless administration of the state as political power shifts. The DA supports this bill as it fully aligns with our vision of a successful and capable state administered by non-partisan officials. I thank you.
The Honourable Ndamase. Honourable Ndamase.
Honourable Deputy Speaker and honourable members of this august House, as I stand here feeling honoured to speak on behalf of the African National Congress, I'm reminded of the statement attributed to Isaac Newton, directed to Robert Hooke. I quote, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Close quote. Honourable members, we may some of us get carried away and behave as exclusive creators of the success stories, inclusive of the promulgation of the Public Service Commission Act as the 7th Parliament. We may be basking into the limelight as the 7th Parliament. I am therefore reminding this House that if we see not only beyond the mountains, but beyond the clouds, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. As early as 1992, the ANC, through its seminal document, Ready to Govern, entitled The Public Service, I quote, "The whole of the civil service will have to be opened up so as to make it a truly South African civil service and not the administrative arm of a racial minority. The civil service should be impartial in its functioning and accountable both to Parliament and to the broad community it serves." Close quote. In the RDP document, the ANC wrote as follows, I quote, "The public service should be composed in such a way that it is capable of and committed to the implementation of the policies of the government and the delivery of basic goods and services to the people of the country." Close quote. It goes further to assert as follows, I quote once again, "While the public service must be based on merit, career principles, suitability, skills, competence, and qualifications, these standards should not be interpreted to further the minority interest as in the past." Close quote. In 2007, the ANC further argues as follows, "The creation of a single public service initiative will enable administration in all three spheres of government to be organized and to operate in ways that ensure efficient, quality, collaborative, and accountable service delivery to promote social and economic development for the people of the Republic." Honourable Deputy Speaker, I have only referred to 1992, 1994, and 2000. and that is not even a fraction of the body of knowledge the ANC has deposited in the body politics, not of this country, but of the whole world. One could have referred to 1912, to 1921, to 1944, to 1955, and any other policy document to drive the mantra of standing on shoulders of giants. However, due to time constraints, I only referred to 3 snippets. Honourable members, the ANC traces the genesis of this noble piece of legislation in these walls of the legislative arm of government to the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th parliaments, lest we allow our minds to refuse to understand. The ANC is in full support of the basic tenets of the Public Service Commission Amendment Bill in front of us as far as the following, amongst others, are concerned. Firstly, the establishment of the PSC Secretariat for full execution of the PSC mandate. Secondly, the affirmation of the independence and impartiality of the PSC as the constitutional entity. And finally, reinforcing the role of the PSC mandate in terms of local government and public entities. Honourable Deputy Speaker, we are convinced that this amendment of the Public Service Commission Bill will, amongst other things, do the following. Firstly, it will strengthen good governance, promote compliance and improve accountability across the public sector. It will also create the elusive balance between legal rules and ethical values. Honourable Deputy Speaker, we align ourselves as the ANC with the contention that good governance embodies responsible management practices that align with democratic values and efficiency. We therefore call upon the Public Service Commission, as envisaged by this bill, to shine the light on these values. Honourable Deputy Speaker, we are as well party to the fervent belief in the argument as espoused by Young and Northcote, as they argue that accountability in governance builds trust in citizens as they access information about allocation and use of resources. In this age of trust deficit between the citizenry and government, any dose of trust is welcome. In South Africa, honourable members, the new public management framework was only incorporated into government reforms following the 1994 transition, which established governance principles of ethical practices, resource efficiency, and impartial delivery of services. We therefore believe, honourable members, that the empowered PSC will be a needed yeast in governance and accountability, while its ethical conduct is catapulted to higher pedestal. Honourable members, as I conclude, may I remind you once again that 70 years ago, the people of this country proclaimed through their own teeth their demand to govern themselves. We are standing here today as the African National Congress to once more deliver another instrument aimed at changing the material conditions of the people. May we therefore, as this legislative arm of the state, do what the Constitution enjoins us to do and make and act as a real instrument of changing the material conditions of the people of South Africa. We owe it to giants on whose broad shoulders we daily climb to see furthest. Thank you very much.
The Honourable the Minister of Public Service and Administration. The Honourable Minister.
Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Mkalipi, Honourable Minister, please take your seat for a bit.
Deputy Speaker, now there is a cool air, so we can proceed. We can review our earliest decision. Now we can proceed with the work because we are sent by people to represent them here. So the problem is fixed. I propose that let us continue with the work of Parliament, Speaker, and let us review our decision that we take that we must postpone the work of Parliament.
Honourable
I
Kalipi, I would suggest that you first discuss it with your chief whip and then with the chief whip of the other parties. But for now, we will proceed and we will get back to your point later on. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much once again, Deputy Speaker, for the opportunity. And I also want to thank all the members of your House for their contributions, which has enriched today's discussion. It is really gratifying, Deputy Speaker, that your House speaks with one voice without any division on an important matter which affects our collective interest. Our thanks also goes to the members of the Portfolio Committee for their work and all active citizens of this country and stakeholders for their contributions in shaping this bill. Siyaqaphela ke futhi nembono namazwi okuxwayisa vela kakhulukazi kozakwethu abaphikisayo nabonakalisa ukubaluleka ukuthi isikhathi esikuso sekufanele ba imithetho esishayayo kungayi nje ngokuthi ibhalwe phansi emaphepheni kodwa ibe namandla okufeza lokho ngoba siyavivinya imithetho kodwa nxa isimithetho ephelele bese ingabe sabana amazinyo okuthi lume kubonakala umehluko sekusezandleni zayo ke iPublic Service Commission ukuthi yenze umsebenzi njengoba sikhipha inxiwa namhlanje. Ngiyabonga endlini yakho sihlalo.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. That concludes the debate. Are there any objections to the Public Service Commission bill being read a second time? No objections. Agreed to. The Secretary will read the bill a second time.
Public Service Commission Bill.
The bill will be sent to the National Council of Provinces for concurrence. The Secretary will read the fourth order.
Consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities on filling of vacancies for the National Youth Development Agency Board.
The Honourable Van der Merwe.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, the National Youth Development Agency has a mandate, that of empowering the youth, tackling the many challenges that affect our youth, and ensuring that they've got access to employment, opportunities, and growth. The youth of our country represents our collective future. Yet the reality is that our nation faces an unprecedented youth unemployment crisis. This stands between us and our future aspirations, and it stands between us and the achievement of sustainable national growth. The Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities therefore believe that youth development must be at the very centre of everything we do. The recruitment process by Parliament of candidates to serve on an NYDA board, therefore, is an important act of governance. The 7 members to serve on an NYDA board is appointed by the President of the Republic on recommendation of this House. Section 91A of the NYDA Amendment Act provides that the board also consists of 2 ex officio members without voting rights, designated by the Minister from the department in an advisory capacity. Parliament advertised for these vacancies on various media platforms and received over 1,400 applications. After a very rigorous process, 20 candidates were shortlisted for an interview with the committee. During the shortlisting, the committee considered the fundamental requirements for the appointment as a board member, as set out in Section 94A of the NYDA Amendment Act, as well as disqualifications set out in Section 10. The committee also focused on matters relating to criminal records And in this regard, the State Security Agency confirmed that none of the shortlisted candidates had a criminal record. Between December 6, 2024 and January 15, 2025, the curriculum vitae of 20 shortlisted candidates were published on the parliamentary website. This crucial step reinforced Parliament's commitment to public participation. The three-day interview process commenced on 25 February 2025 and concluded on 27 February 2025. A quick overview of the demographics of the 9 recommended candidates are as follows. The average age of the recommended candidates is 30. The youngest recommended candidate is 25. Among the recommended candidates is 1 person with a disability, 1 non-binary candidate, 3 females and 5 males. In terms of qualifications and work experience, 2 candidates are holders of PhDs, but also as a collective, they represent a wealth of experience in youth development and include qualifications in law, education, economics, and international relations. After careful consideration, the committee unanimously agreed on 9 suitable candidates to recommend to the President for the establishment of a new NYDA board to serve for the next 3 years. And their names are as follows. Ms. Kelly Sandra Baloy, Ms. Tembisile Precious Maua, Dr. Wiseman Mfaniseni Mbata, Mr. Bonga Sipasitle Makanya, Mr. Sibosiso Makatini, Mr. Ifran Mangera, Dr. Sunshine Minentle Miende, Busisiwe Nandipa Ngumalo, and Mr. Pabiso Nicholas Niati. The Portfolio Committee unanimously endorsed the process as fair and unanimously declared the process as one that delivered on our aspirations of finding the very best, most capable and most suitable candidates. The recommended candidates are representative of our demographic and geographic spread of the Republic, and the Portfolio Committee is confident that all the candidates recommended for appointment are fit and proper persons. The candidates are not only experienced professionals, but they will bring a wealth of knowledge, expertise, and passion to serving young people. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee, I would like to say to all young people who applied, thank you for being patriotic, and thank you for your determination to serve your nation. By completing this work, Parliament has demonstrated its deep and unwavering commitment to the youth and affirms that their concerns are indeed our concerns. I now have the honour on behalf of the Portfolio Committee to ask this House to consider, support and adopt this report. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable van der Merwe. I will now recognise political parties wishing to make a declaration. The usual time for declaration of votes will apply. The DA.
Deputy Speaker, the Democratic Alliance notes the report before us today and wish to state that the committee is satisfied, as per the report read, that we have complied with all the advertisement criteria for the candidates considered to be shortlisted. Amongst them is that they must broadly reflect the demographics and geographical spread of the Republic and must be a South African citizen between the ages of 18 and 35 years, have relevant knowledge, expertise, experience or qualification in youth development, social development, financial field, legal field, or any other field considered necessary for the advancement of the agency's mandate. Be allowed to finish their term of office if they turn 35 years whilst in office, and be committed to advance vision, mission, goal, objectives, values, and principles as enunciated in the National Youth Policy. It was inspiring to observe a huge number of young people participating in the nomination process, a process that was transparent. The advertisement also went out for public comment. The committee then conducted interviews, which were also aired on various social media platforms. It was encouraging also to witness young people across the country commenting on the performance of the candidates on social media. This was an indication that young people are taking ownership of their lives and they want their views to be registered on who should represent their interests. We are of a firm view that the names submitted today meet the criteria. We are confident that committee will also receive a resounding approval from young people who followed the process, because as a committee, we took it upon ourselves to ensure we recommend candidates based on merit. The Democratic Alliance has always maintained a stance that the NYDA should be scrapped, because for a longest time, the ANC has used the NYDA as its cash cow, preventing young people from participating fairly in the economy of this country. The use of NYDA to benefit the few connected individuals ends in this term of the 7th Parliament. We still do not support the NYDA based on reasons mentioned above. However, Deputy Speaker, it is the duty of this board, which is about to be appointed by the President, to do justice to the agency and to prove that this agency has an ability to create young entrepreneurs and find jobs for young people across the country with the stakeholders the agency has established relationships with. We expect the board members to roll up their sleeves and use all available platforms to ensure every young person in this country is aware of this agency. And there's at least a number of young people that can identify with each candidate as someone having helped them start a business, develop a business plan, or support a youth-led NGO. This will assist us as a country to reduce the unemployment rate, which is currently sitting at over 45% for young people between the ages of 15 to 35 years. We also expect this board to reach out to young people in the deep rural areas of Platrand in Likwa, situated in Mpumalanga province, in Ingwavuma and Jozini, situated in KwaZulu-Natal, in Gampahlele, situated in Limpopo. These are some of the areas where our vulnerable are found and have always been forgotten. Young persons with disability, living with albinism, and young persons on the street should be empowered via this agency. During these interviews, Deputy Speaker, it came up often that social media should be utilized to its maximum because the majority of young persons are now using social media as part of their daily
Honourable
lives.
Member, please take your seat. There is a point of order. Honourable Kanyile, please take your seat. Yes, Honourable Member, on which point are you rising?
Yeah, I think the member is using numbers from Stats DA, not Stats SA. Can she take a question?
Honourable Member, are you willing to take a question?
No, Deputy Speaker.
She is not prepared to. Please proceed, Member.
During the interviews, it came up more often that social media should be used to its maximum because majority of young persons are now using social media as part of their daily lives. If the citizens of the USA can get paid for utilizing TikTok, we want to see young people within our country being paid for being content creators. This agency is expected to make sure that all these things are possible. We will be keeping a very close eye on this board to ensure they deliver on all their commitments they have made. We support the report.
The MK.
Madam Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, as Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, we recognize in Pillar 4 of the People's Mandate that we need to remove any challenge that suppress youth-owned businesses. We also recognize the need to diversify the economy to support the application and inclusion of youth-owned businesses.
Honorable members, it goes without saying that in a country where youth unemployment is at an all-time high, opportunities for young people in this country are far and few between. The NYDA is an agency that is too big to fail. The governance of such an important institution is one that cannot be marked by the corruption, looting, and inefficiencies that haunt many of our state institutions. If we are serious about the young people of this country, it is only fitting that we send the most capable, talented, and dedicated individual to sit and plan programs aimed at the millions of South African young people. Candidates who have proven to all of us sitting here today that giving young South Africans access to opportunities is all that they need to flourish. The late Sanamile Masango, a young black woman from Kwanongoma who became South Africa's first black nuclear scientist, is a proof that the South African young people are brilliant. The NYDA as a driver for youth development must never be used as a political tool that rewards young people for their association with a certain political parties, to the exclusion of the many brilliant young South Africans. There are South Africans who can better serve agency. As Umkhonto weSizwe Party, we have noted with reservation some flaws in the process of selecting the young people who are to serve on the board of agency, particularly the lack of independence in scoring that results in preconceived outcomes. Youth development must be fair for all youth of the country, not beneficiaries of the GNU. We recommend that the legal framework be defined and include clear guidelines to ensure that participants are not disqualified based on the unclear treatment for those participants who turn 35 years old during the process. We recommend that the recruitment and shortlist for interview process is done independently to avoid the politicizing of this process and the agency, and to give all applicants a fair chance. We recommend that we exercise stronger oversight to the agency, oversight of the agency. We cannot have this agency associated with corruption, non-compliance with the PFMA and other irregularities committed by those who sit and serve on the board. Honorable members, young people are the future. It is time that we take them seriously and build them a future they deserve.
Your time has expired. Honourable member, your time has expired. The EFF.
Thank you very much, Speaker. My name is Sishelodze, a member of Parliament deployed by the Economic Freedom Fighters. We have all seen the news of people who tried to cheat this process. They even admitted to illegally benefiting monies from municipalities. They admitted to falsification of their certificates and degrees. The people of South Africa and the youth must thank the EFF for exposing the rot in the NYDA. If it was not for the EFF, the NYDA board interviews were not going to be robust, they were not going to be fair, and they were not going to be transparent. The reality is that if the people of South Africa did not even know that these interviews were taking place until the participation of the EFF, even when some unintelligent and unsophisticated MPs of the ANC tried to protect corruption, we defeated them and we removed the rotten potatoes from the shortlisting process. But we must be clear to the people of South Africa, this process was more than just about exposing corruption. This process is about the youth of South Africa, the unemployed hustlers and survivors, the youth that roams our streets with graduation gowns, the unemployed doctors, the bottle girls, the youth drowning in drugs, alcohol and depression. Many of them have stopped looking for jobs. They have stopped being creative and innovative because their creativity is ignored and their innovation is stolen by the same entity that is supposed to fund them. These are young people, not just statistics. They are human beings full of hope, full of dreams and full of potential. It is a lie that they are lazy. Majority of them work very hard. They study very hard and they have the necessary skills and competence. But you ignore them because they are not politically connected. They don't call you leadership. They don't wake up in the morning to defend your shenanigans. They don't carry your water. They don't fetch your ice. They don't sleep with you for employment and positions in government entities. Now we're going to give the new board members very clear and simple advice. Number one, it must remove all offices of the NYDA in inaccessible suburbs and take it to the township and the rural areas. Two, they must streamline NYDA processes, reduce the bureaucracy and make it easy for young people to access funding. Three, they must strengthen partnership with other government departments and non-government organizations to increase internship, job and entrepreneurial opportunities. Four, they must enhance the transparency and accountability by regularly publishing impact reports because no one knows what the NYDA does in South Africa. Five, they must review all salaries because at some point the NYDA was paying more than 50% of its budget on salaries. That is irresponsible and financially unsustainable. We hope that we have made it clear to you that no matter how powerful you think you are, the EFF will hold you accountable. The NYDA does not belong to the ANC. The NYDA does not belong to the ANC Youth League. It belongs to all the young people of South Africa. The days of impunity are over. The days of corruption are over. The days of eating alone while young people die from hunger are over. We have kicked the table and we are going to continue to kick it as long as we sit alone in the dinner table. The NYDA belongs to all South Africans, not the cronies of the ANC. Thank you.
The IFP.
Speaker, Deputy Speaker, we present to you the former President of the Student Command, President Pele.
Honourable member of the IFP, please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The IFP welcomes and fully supports the process of the new NYDA board, following a selection process that was fair, open and transparent. For the first time since its establishment, Parliament has demonstrated collective commitment and unity in selecting candidates based purely on merit. This process has ensured that only the most capable, qualified and committed individuals has been entrusted with the responsibility of taking the NYDA forward. The IFP has always maintained that young people deserve an agent that is not a political playground, but a dynamic institution that truly empowers the youth of South Africa, irrespective of political affiliation, background, or economic status. The recommended candidates have the historical opportunity to redefine the NYDA into a stronger, more effective, and a robust institution. As the IFP, we stand firm in our commitment to the youth of South Africa and wish the candidates well. In consideration of the all above, the IFP accepts the report. I thank you.
The PA.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honourable members, The recommended list of candidates is a true reflection of the diversity of our country, ensuring that all geographical and demographical regions are represented and as outlined in Section 9(4) of the NYDA Act as amended. Act 11 of 2024, the committee has taken into account critical factors such as gender parity and the inclusion of women and persons with disabilities in the selection process. Being part of a process where young people showed interest in putting up their hands to help reshape, empower, and build the future we see for ourselves was one step closer to becoming the generation we hope to be. As the committee extends its gratitude to all candidates who participated in the interviews and expressed their appreciation for the diligent work of the support staff who facilitated this process, we remain confident that these recommendations will contribute to the continuous success and growth of the NYDA. In conclusion, I will say again, we have seen way too many dreams die prematurely. We have witnessed great ideas thought of that never manifested. And we have seen how how tables can be turned when all we really needed as young people of this country is a chance. Thank you.
FF Plus.
A declaration, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Action SA.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Action SA welcomes the nomination to fill vacancies on the National Youth Development Agency Board. And while we acknowledge the urgency of having a functional board, we must do so with caution. It is imperative that the selection process is refined to eliminate political interference and ensure that the board operates independently and in the best interests of young people in South Africa. To improve the agency's performance, measurable and transparent targets must be established to clarify the exact mandate of board members, enabling effective performance management. And further to this, there must be strict consequence management and robust oversight to prevent past failures and ensure the agency operates efficiently and with some sort of accountability. As Action SA, we remain concerned about the NYDA's effectiveness and its ability to meet its objectives. As such, we urge the incoming board members to restore the NYDA's credibility by delivering tangible results, achieving its mandate, and proving that it is more than just a political tool. To achieve this, the board must play a proactive role in integrating young people into the economy by addressing poverty, combating crime, and promoting social cohesion. This requires a stronger focus on skills development, entrepreneurship support, and the National Youth Service Program. These initiatives must not be limited to urban areas, but it must be expanded to the most rural and underserved communities, something that has been sorely lacking within this agency, and it must change. South Africa's youth deserve a functional and effective agency, and we as Action SA will hold this board accountable and ensure that this happens. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
ACDP.
Honourable House Chairperson, as we consider this report, the ACDP underscores the need for a functional, efficient, skilled and committed NYDA board. This board has the mandate to initiate, design, coordinate, evaluate and monitor all programs aimed at integrating our youth into the economy and society in general. The filling of the vacancies for the NYDA board comes at a crucial time for young people in South Africa. Many have become despondent, staying away from the polls at large numbers. Youth unemployment stands at some 45.5%, impacting economic participation and overall development of young people. Furthermore, many young people lack employable skills, which is exacerbated by scarce job opportunities. The ACDP calls on the newly elected board to develop programs which, number one, closes the mismatch gap between youth unemployment and job market demands. 2, focus on giving young people access to quality education and training, curb high school dropout rates and improves weak educational systems, and fourthly, address issues related to mental health, bullying, homelessness and gangsterism. Honourable House Chairperson, The ACDP is concerned by the sudden elevation of a non-binary gender category. We are not satisfied that this board adequately represents the demographics of South Africa, despite due legislative process being followed regarding the public participation and shortlisting process. However, with these reservations, the ACDP supports the report. Thank you.
UDM.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The UDM is in support of the recommendations made by the Portfolio Committee for the appointment of the 9 candidates to the NYDA board. We commend the committee for ensuring the diversity and inclusivity of the chosen candidates, which reflects the demographic and geographic spread of our country. It is encouraging to see that the list includes women and persons with disabilities, demonstrating a commitment to fairness and equity. While we fully support the inclusivity, we must also make it clear that there are roles and responsibilities the new board must prioritize. The youth of South Africa face critical challenges, and we expect the board to focus on empowering young people, particularly by creating greater access to education, employment, and entrepreneurial opportunities. These efforts must target the most disadvantaged areas and rural communities. Honorable Deputy Speaker, isikhalo sikhulu kakhulu phaya phansi ngendlela i-NYDA esebenza ngayo. Bathi uncedo alufikeleli kubantu okufanele lufikelele kubo. Ngokukodwa xa iza kumba wokuba kukho amahle athi kufuneka umuntu omtsha abe kwipati ethile ukuze afumane uncedo. Umnqweno we-UDM kukuba le board intsha iwuqwalasele lo mba. Additionally, the board must promote youth participation in governance and policy making. South Africa's youth must feel empowered to influence the future of their country, and the NYDA should serve as a platform for this. I thank you.
Thank you. Rise.
Deputy Speaker, I rise to support the work of the Portfolio Committee. It's actually great to hear that the report was unanimously agreed by all the members in the committee. And when one is sitting there to hear members of this House supporting the report, it's very good, which means that it's a strong mandate to the incoming board of the NYDA, that you have the support of the House of Parliament to do your work of youth development. Whilst we support this report, there are just a couple of things that we need to make clear. I think it's unfair, and it will be unfair, that the entire weight of solving the youth unemployment problem that we have as a country is placed on the NYDA. Considering that the NYDA has got a budget of less than R1 billion, we need to be realistic. One of the mistakes of the NYDA has always been to chase after the numbers and not the impact. One of the things that we want the NYDA to do is to focus on the impact and not chase the numbers. This thing of just giving young people R1,000 and 5,000 rand, and you say you are assisting them to start businesses, must come to an end. If you want to assist young people that are going to start businesses, give them upward of R1 million. What's the use of giving young people 5,000 rand and 10,000 rand, and you say go and create jobs? Which job has been created by 10,000 rand? So if you want to have serious youth development, let's support young people with real funding and not give them 5,000 rand and 10,000 rand. And let's not chase numbers, let's chase impact. We support the report.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Bosa.
Deputy Speaker, we want to acknowledge the work of the committee and to support the report. But it would be amiss of us to not use the platform and the opportunity to recognize the fact that the NYDA has historically, to date, failed the young people of this country. There's no question about that. Young people in this country are unemployed. They have close to 70%, by the expanded definition, unemployment in this country. They are unemployed, they are desperate, they are lacking opportunities while the NYDA exists. And the NYDA was established as a vehicle to actually address these issues, not as a vehicle for patronage and wasteful expenditure. So the board that is ultimately going to be appointed has got to make sure that there is reform in the NYDA, that the inefficiencies that plague the NYDA are addressed, and that really we start to increase the youth entrepreneurship rates in this country. Because it's an indictment on this country that we have one of the lowest youth entrepreneurship rates in the country, and we have an institution that is supposed to champion economic opportunities for the young. So while we support the recommendation of appointments, the House must recognize that appointing a new board alone is not what's going to fix the crisis, that the NYDA needs urgent reform, and that the mandate must be refocused, it must be accessible, it must be relevant, and most importantly, this leadership has got to be held accountable. Thank you.
ATM. Not present. Al Jamar.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Al Jamar supports the report.
Thank you. NCC. Not present. PAC. Not present. UAT.
No declaration.
Thank you. Good. Not present. ANC.
Thank you so much, Chairperson and honourable members and fellow South Africans for the opportunity. One would like to appreciate, as the African National Congress, the commitment that was given by young people of this country. For those young people who rose and chose this opportunity and took this baton to say they were going to lead economic and social development of young people, pushing forward the agenda of excellence, development, inclusion and integration of young people across South Africa. As the African National Congress, we have diligently promoted youth development and integration. We have always integrated the economic and social access for young people. As the African National Congress, we also highlight and recognize some of the deficiencies that still persist in society, and hence why we emphasize the importance of the NYDA. We also would like to appreciate the candidates who stepped forward, those who were shortlisted, and those who put themselves through the rigorous process of interviews, also being put on the public platform for scrutiny. We appreciate their resilience and them opening themselves with their skills, with diligence and commitment to pushing forward youth development. As the African National Congress, we firmly believe that youth development should be at the core of our agenda as a country, and this is enshrined in the NDP. In the NDP, we seek to ensure economic and social emancipation for young people, understanding that they are the drivers of our future. They must be the defenders of our democracy. Since the establishment of the NYDA, we have seen significant progress, not at the rate in which we wish to have seen it at. But yet, We have seen opportunities being granted through grant and service opportunities. We have seen skills development training. Additionally, through the last administration and the last board that is now stepping out, we have additionally seen collaborative effort with government institutions and the private sector. The agenda of young people cannot be achieved only by this institution, which plays a very pivotal role in society. It can only be achieved through collaborative effort with the private and the public sector. And that's why, as the African National Congress, we call upon all institutions, both government and the private sector, to play their collective role and responsibility in driving the youth development agenda. The NYDA has additionally contributed towards youth policy and legislation that seeks to ensure the developmental progress of young people in this country, pushing forward policies and legislation that seek to drive the narrative and promote the rights of young people across the continent and across the world, creating opportunities of exposure, opportunities of academic excellence, opportunities of entrepreneurship and skills development training. Now, the board that is coming in has a heavy task ahead of it, and it will not be the first or the last board to have a responsibility of this nature. Now, we must understand that unemployment is not only the responsibility of the NYDA. Unemployment cannot be put on the shoulders of NYDA. Unemployment lies upon each and every single sector in society, both roles coming from the private and government. We must understand that the NYDA needs to be reinforced and capacitated with the necessary resources and the teeth for it to ensure that there is accountability. We also would like to congratulate the candidates that have been recommended. These candidates are vibrant, they have skills, they have resilient. Not only that, the demographic groups that are represented here shows that we are heading in the right direction. As the African National Congress, we firmly believe in promoting diversity and inclusion and leaving no one behind. There shall be no young person who's left behind. The NYDA's responsibility is to ensure its services and products reach young people in remote rural areas. There should not be a young South African who is unaware of the operation, the work, and the services provided by the NYDA. And therefore, this responsibility will be upon the incoming board, and we wish them all the best. Additionally, I would like to speak to Honorable Lonzi, who has made it a point in this House and during the proceeding of the Portfolio Committee order. To politicize the process. Honorable Speaker, we must understand that this honorable member at the podium of young people. We cannot members order. Honorable Chauke, politics. Honorable Chauke, there is a point of order. At the expense of young people. Honorable Chauke, for young people. Honorable Chauke, please take your seat. For the emancipation empowerment of young people. Please take your seat, honorable member. There is a point of order. I first had one from the EFF. Yes, honorable member, what is your point of order? Yes, yes, I hear you. What is your point of order?
Deputy Speaker, the member on the podium can't debate the individual member in the name of President Cyril. He must debate the report. He's not going to finish his speech. We're going to the President here.
Honourable member, that is not a point of order. We are busy with declarations and debate. Honourable Skosana, what is your point of order?
Yeah, can't tell us what to debate.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. I'm rising in terms of Rule 69. Grossly disorderly conduct. What honourable members of the EFF are doing is grossly disorderly conduct, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Skosana, that is for the presiding officer to determine. We will now proceed Honorable Chauke, you have 50 seconds left. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And I do understand why the EFF members are aggravated. Honorable Lonzi, that stage resources are adequately allocated to young people who are deserving.
Okay, please take your seat. Honorable
who are unable to pay back the loan, but
there's
also unable to finish his qualification and dropped out, leaving deserving people. Yeah.
Deputy Speaker. Honourable Lakudi, you've had your hand raised. No. Yes, Honourable Member. Yes, Deputy Minister.
Thank you so much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Arise.
Order, Honourable Members.
Order.
Honourable Members, Honourable Deputy Minister, before you proceed, you expect other members to listen when you have a point of order, but you don't afford them the same courtesy. Please remain orderly, Honourable Deputy Minister.
Thank you so much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. I rise on a point of order in that the member is being howled. There's a lot of howling and it's drowning the member. That is against the rules. That's one. Secondly, it is so unfortunate that women on the other side of EFF are shouting and howling at a young woman on the podium that is supposed to make a point. And I think they're out of order. It's shameful on them.
That is not a point of order, but the behaviour is unacceptable. Honourable members, you want other people to listen to you, but you are not prepared to do the same. We will now proceed. Honourable Chauke, please conclude your declaration.
Thank you very much. I emphasize that Honourable Lonzi must go and pay back the NSFAS.
Honourable Chauke, please take your chair. There is another point of order. The Honourable Mente.
Yes, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, we can't have a member.
Order, Speaker. Order. Speaker, order.
Honourable members, without addressing you. Anyone who's speaking to the House, they speak to you. But also, you can't take a point of debate and make it personal. Once you start attacking an individual call an individual by name, inviting
Honourable Member, that is not a point of order. I am warning you, I'm switching with the microphone. Honourable members, we will now proceed and finalise this debate. I'm not taking any more points of order. It is on the exact same issue. I have ruled, Honourable Tlangwini, I have ruled that the Honourable Speaker at the podium will now conclude. And there will no be further frivolous points of order. Honourable Chauke, please conclude.
She has 2 minutes to conclude.
Thank you. And I had wished that young people, we should not utilize platforms of this nature to come and berate each other, but I will withdraw, Honourable Lonzi, and respect you. Young people of South Africa, do not let cheap politics undermine you. Do not let them discourage you from putting yourself forward in leading youth development.
Honourable members.
It is your responsibility as young people to ensure that we are driving this country in the right direction. Now we have all the policies to guide us, and through your advocacy in the NYDA, a responsibility will be given upon you. And as members of the Portfolio Committee, we will work and walk side by side with you.
Honourable Chauke, you have 2 seconds left. Honourable Mente, there is a point of order.
Deputy Speaker, we can't allow a situation where people are giving conditional withdrawals. A person must withdraw out of order.
Honourable
We can't allow a conditional withdrawal.
I'm now withdrawing. Honourable members, I am now dealing with this matter.
Christmas of withdrawal. We'll never withdraw.
Honourable members, I did not instruct the Honourable Chauke to withdraw. She did that out of her own volition, and then she can put conditions. We will now proceed. Honourable Chauke, you have exactly 1 second.
We must be insulted. We are going to withdraw. Deputy Speaker,
As the African National Congress,
please recognize
as
me.
the African National Congress, we hereby
Deputy
support
Speaker.
the report and the recommendation of these candidates.
Honourable Chauke.
Expired.
Honourable Ntlangwini, what is your point of order?
And what are you afraid of?
Honourable Ntlangwini, what is your point of order? I am recognizing you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I can't believe that all of that fight was for Swelo. They didn't even qualify and never had qualification. That is a shame.
Microphone. Honourable members, we will now proceed with the rest of the proceedings. We have now had all the declarations. The question before the House is that the following list of candidates be recommended for appointment by the President to serve as board members in the National Youth Development Agency NYDA board.
Deputy Speaker.
Honourable members, I am not taking points of order now. This is
But
now
you have not
becoming...
been seeing us, Deputy Speaker.
Honourable member, this is now becoming embarrassing for the young people of this country. That Parliament is behaving in such a manner.
Speaker, what must be condemned is the wild animal behavior we are experiencing from this.
Honourable member, that is out of order. Please withdraw that. That is absolutely out of order. I'm not taking any further points of order. Deputy Minister, I'm not taking points of order. We will now proceed to honour this whole process, and I must say that it is shameful that Parliament is behaving in this way when young people are watching us. This is an embarrassment, but we will proceed. Now, Honourable Deputy Minister, I'm not taking a further point of order on this. I will restart. The question before the House is that the following list of candidates be recommended for appointment by the President to serve as board members of the National Youth Development Agency, the NYDA board, for a period of 3 years. Ms. Kelly Sandra Beloy, Ms. Tembisile Precious Mahua, Dr. Wiseman Mfaniseni Mbata, Mr. Bongo Sepeshishle Makanya, Mr. Sibusiso Makatini, Mr. Irfan Mangera, Dr. Sunshine Minenshle Miyende, Ms. Busisiwe Nandipa Ngumalu, and Mr. Kabisu Nicholas Hinyati. Are there any objections? No objections? Agreed to. And the list of candidates will now be forwarded to the President for consideration. Order. Members, I request you to stand and wait for the presiding officer and the mace to leave the chamber. That concludes the business of the day, and the House is adjourned.
Make it. Zwelo has fallen. Zwelo, youth treasure has fallen. Yes, fallen. Zwelo. Asinalo uzwelo. No zwelo. Uphelile nga.
I see why Pele left the EFF.
So your only program was zwelo. What EFF?